Hey guys, Philip at Trade Genius. All right, we're going to dive into the Bitcoin halving cycle a little bit more in this video. We've had a nice jump up with Bitcoin getting over the 200-day moving average, which is a pretty big deal for a lot of people. That's a line in the sand whether or not we're in a bear market or a bull market, depending on if we're below or above that 200-day moving average. So we're going to take a look at that and dive into this chart here, which is our Bitcoin halving cycle chart, and talk about what all this means and what we can expect. So without further ado, guys, let's dive into this video and check all that out.
Trade Genius.
Guys, really quickly, we've got some specials running for getting in the room for 12 months with us, and this is just an example of the crypto calls, and we've had a bunch of calls already this year. Cumulative percentage total gains of 362, over almost 363%. So if you guys want to get in on that, we include that in special number one. Also include our binary options program. The official calls now are at 142 wins and 9 losses, and that doesn't even include all the room trade winners that are in that we share in the room. So again, you can get these specials. $3.99 will get you 12 months with us. Really encourage you guys to join us and get in on some of this winning action. All right, let's dive into this halving trajectory. This is a chart that basically outlines the basically where the halving events are. So that's these red vertical lines. So the first one was back in October 2012, and they're basically right in the middle of where we have our peak to trough to peak. Okay, so basically a good indicator of historically midway through the correction and then on our way to the next high. And what we did was we took basically averages of these peak to troughs back to peaks again. So on the first halving we had back in 2012, the bottom was put in 116 bars or 347 days. This is a daily or a 3-day chart. 347 days prior to the halving, the bottom was put in on that corrective cycle. Same thing here, 503 days on this particular one, the bottom was put in before the halving cycle. So, obviously there's a bit of difference between these two, but you can see it's the better part of a year plus here and a better part of a year here. So if we take that average, right, and again, the con to this would be that we just don't have a lot of sample size yet. However, when you've got two halving cycles that have basically split the difference between the basically the whole move, corrective move down and then back up, I think you can basically look at that and say there's something here as far as the timing goes. So we take the average 100 and well, in this case 425 days would be the average days before a halving bottom. All right, that takes us to actually April 1st. Coincidentally, April 1st was our big spike above the 200-day moving average we just recently have, and took us up over 5K. And we've pulled back a little bit from that, but coincidentally that happened on that average day before the halving. Okay, now same thing on the upside. After the halving, we had a peak 393 days after the halving. We peaked out here. That was that first run over $1,000. On this particular cycle, the most recent cycle, we had after our 2016 halving, we peaked out at 564 days after the halving. So you can notice the here the days are a little closer together as far as bottom and peak. They are roughly about 50 or so days here, and this one is roughly about 60 days within each other as far as the bottom and the top, pre and post. So kind of interesting there. On this particular one, we're taking the average again. So that takes us to 477 days past the halving on 2020. That takes us out to September 18th, 2021. Considering that the trajectory is going to be relatively the same. And I'm going to say this is a little bit, we're taking the averages here of the time that's projected to take to get to a peak after that halving based on the previous ones. But I'm actually leaning this might be a little conservative time-wise, because I think that these cycles, we're going to start seeing these types of cycles actually start to compress. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, they're getting longer, but I actually think they're going to compress until we get one final really large blow off top that kind of puts the top in on Bitcoin for a while, and then price settles in on more of a long-term stable value for Bitcoin. That being said, though, we're looking at another huge price increase. Again, these price increases are in line with where you buy around the time going into the halving period, which is like right now. That's where you kind of see like your big gains. And everyone is still leery about getting into Bitcoin, or it's going to fall farther, or it's going to come down again. And that's usually where it leaves people behind. And then people are just wishing that they got one more pullback to get back into it. But this one takes us to $265,748 on September 18th, 2021. Again, I think that might actually be conservative. We could actually see that number sooner, or we could see a peak sooner, but not as high. But I think the time-wise, that might be a little conservative. Okay. This also, we have a nice channel now that we have on the logarithmic chart, which is scaled so you can see properly all the highs and lows without squishing the chart due to the fact that price got up to 20K over here. This kind of just scales the chart in a relative manner. So as you can see, a lot of upside potential. Now this is like big picture, right? Looking down from 30,000 feet. So there's a lot of ups and downs that you can really maximize your entries in. And that's what we're going to be focusing on here at Trade Genius and in the room, as far as maximizing and optimizing the entry so that you get the best dollar cost average getting into this cycle. And that can make a decent amount of difference. So anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Just wanted to let you guys know that looks like we're getting back into that very bullish period ahead of the halving. And if you're interested in joining us and navigating this next cycle in crypto and which altcoins would be performing the best and having in your portfolio, head over to tradelikeagenius.com and join us and check us out. 12 months, can't beat it. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.